Formal. Hi, Formal. Thank you so much for the raid. How was stream? You're doing some Overwatch. How did it go? Formal, if you need to raid and run, I completely understand. But if you need to raid and run, sorry, but if you want to lurk and hang out, you're more than welcome to. I had lots of fun, but lost most of the games. Ugh, everybody has been playing a lot of Overwatch lately. But hopefully you've been having fun with it regardless. Let's go ahead and let's say hello to everybody. For those of you who are just coming in with that raid, I am Mukya. I'm a siren with a necrotic affliction, and I run a cafe. If you guys would like a drink, we could do tea, boba, coffee, hot cocoa, or the cake is extra. Hi, hi. Ranked gold in Overwatch. Your gold rank in Overwatch? Cool. I don't know what that is. Is it like bronze, silver, gold, or is gold like the highest that you can get to? Waifu now, since you married me back? I think so. Yeah, bronze, silver, and gold gets higher. Oh, okay. Bronze, silver, gold, plat, and etc. Oh, okay, okay. It's like rivals. I think the highest is like grandmaster or something. Ah, okay, okay. That makes sense. Good boy redeemed for me. I'm about to go to bed. I don't want to miss it. Yeah, of course. I was gonna do those before we did the story time. So I'll go ahead and do them because I have to do one for Valvera too. But since you're heading off to sleep first, I'll go ahead and I'll do yours. And you wanted a good boy, right? Good boy mythic? Is mythic someone else? Are you not? Are you mythic? Hi God Hunter, welcome in. How are you? How's your night? That was just an emote. Oh, okay, okay. I was like, I don't know who that is. Alright. Okay. Thank you for the kiss. Fish, you are a good boy. Fish, you are a very, very good boy. Fish is a very good boy. Good boy, fish. Good boy. Fish, you are a sweet boy. Fish, you are a relaxed boy. Good boy, fish. Good boy. Thank you so much, and you have a good rest. God Hunter, thank you for the check-in, and Yeet, thank you for the forehead kiss. Hi Riot, thank you for hanging out with me over on YouTube. Hi. Didn't realize it was 3 AM. Good night, Shaw. You have a good rest. Put the courses in the bag. Hi, Bone. Ends where I can see them. Oh. Have a good rest, Shaw. Wonderful stream. Good night. Good night, good night. And then we do one for Good Girl for Valvera, of course. Alright. Valvera, you are a good girl. Valvera, you are a very good girl. Good girl. Valvera is a very good girl. Valvera is a silly girl. Valvera is an eager girl. Good girl, Valvera. Kneecaps? Why are you taking his kneecaps? Those are mine. I don't know if I want to give them to you. I might need them for later for science. Thank you. Of course. No, thank you. Oh my gosh, the bright hair, the bright pink hair is throwing me. Okay. So, we have ads showing in about a minute over on Twitch. I don't know if you're gonna get ads on YouTube or not. But if you guys would like to settle in for the night, I had to go back to prison, but they refused, so okay, fair enough, Yeet. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, you know. Oh my gosh. Raffle! Raffle, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you. We are now at 76. I think that's where we are. Thank you so much. Let me see, you gave a sub over to Necromatic Nail, 5-string VR, Pixel, Ishmael, and Noting. Thank you so much, Raffle. You want to post it? Okay, let me go ahead and make a post-it for you really quick. And then I will... Wait, hold on. Is it 5 or 10? I'm so dumb. I might have to double check my thing. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I can do one more sub. Or sorry, one more kiss. Sorry. It's one more kiss, not a sub. I mean, not a posted. Let's see. We'll do a bite this time. Let's do a purple. Let's do a purple bite. Let's see. And we will add it. I will add it. You know, I don't really have any right here by my boots. So, or hear me out. I can add it right here. There you go, Raffle. I'll put it right here for you. I'll put the bite right here on my leg. Okay, then I will put it right here. There we go. Perfect. Alright. There you go, Raffle. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Yippee. So you're an ankle biter now. She turned me back. I mean, the fun kind one. She turned me into a chinchilla. Who turned you into a chinchilla? Fegames, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Performing on kneecaps. He shot me. Now my kneecaps are gone. Gonna taste bad. I'm not gonna eat your kneecaps. I just like to keep them in a box and look at them every so often. Is that weird? For legal reasons, she had to. Getting all these screenshots. The thigh bite is crazy. What? Every so often it happens, especially when you can't quite reach my lips, you know. But thank you so much. Very weird. Oh, is it? Oh, well. It's just what I do. I don't know. Dexter Morgan, but their trophies are kneecaps. I mean, I hold other things besides kneecaps. Not weird at all. Their trophies, yeah. I don't think it's weird. I mean, I personally don't think it's weird. Okay. Jump scare. Boo. Thank you, Riot. Alright. Come, princess, carry you away and keep you instead of your kneecaps. But I like my kneecaps. What if I want to take my kneecaps with me? Can I do that? It's only weird if you make it weird. I don't think it's weird. I think it's pretty normal to keep kneecaps of other people in a box on a shelf in the living room. Bit of a headache. Not even sleeping me. Oh no, Velvet. Lay down and rest. Asymmetrical chest hairs with trophies. What would I want your chest hair for? What would I want that for? Your teeth, though. I'll take your teeth. How about that? I'll take your teeth. Any crooked teeth that you want removed, I got you. I'll pull it out. I'll pull it up with my hand. Just right out. How about that instead? How about good luck, Valvera? I go sleep now. Good night. Good night. Rest well. Sending hugs your way. Bonk for your headache. I keep the skulls of animals on my wall, with or without fur. So, how are kneecaps weird? Right? Exactly. It's so not weird. And for legal reasons, this is all just a joke. Okay. Let's settle in. Let's settle down. Alright. If you're at your desk, close your eyes. Put your hands on your lap, on your armrests, and take a deep breath through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. One more time. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Tilt your head to the left. And tilt your head to the right. I don't want the cavity or chips one. I want the good ones. Sit up. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's settle in for chapter 4 of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Hi, Anvil. Check mix. Oh my god, I love Chex Mix. Okay. Commander Farragut was a good seaman, worthy of the frigate he commanded. His ship and he were one. He was its very soul. On the Cetacean question, no doubts arose in his mind, and he didn't allow the animal's existence to be disputed aboard his vessel. He believed in it as certain pious women believed in the Leviathan from the book of Job, out of faith, not reason. The monster existed, and he had found to rid the seas of it. The man was a sort of knight of Rhodes, later days Saint de Dudome of Gozo, on his way to fight an encounter with the dragon, devastating the isle. Either Commander Farragut would slay the narwhal, or the narwhal would slay Commander Farragut. No middle of the road for these two. Have a good lurk. The ship's office shared the views of their leader. They could be heard chatting, discussing, arguing, calculating the different chances of an encounter, and observing the vast expanse of the ocean. Voluntary watches from the cross trees of the topgallant sails were self-imposed by more than one who would have cursed such toil under any other circumstances. As often as the sun swept over its daily arc, the masts were populated with sailors whose feet itched and couldn't hold still on the planking of the deck below. And the Abraham Lincoln's stem post, hadn't even cut the respected waters of the Pacific. As for the crew, they only wanted to encounter the unicorn, harpoon it, haul it on board, and carve it up. They surveyed that the sea was with scrupulous care. Besides, Count de Farragut had mentioned that a certain sum of $2,000 was waiting for the man who first sighted the animal, be he cabin boy or sailor or officer. I'll let the reader decide whether eyes got proper exercise aboard the Abraham Lincoln. As for me, just for those who are entering, Abraham Lincoln is a ship. As for me, I didn't lag behind the others, and I yielded to no one my share of these daily observations. Our frigate would have had 50 good reasons for renaming itself the Argus, after that mythological beast with 100 eyes. The lone rebel among us was Conseil, who seemed utterly uninterested in the question exciting us and was out of step with the general enthusiasm on board. As I said, Commander Farragut had carefully equipped his ship with all the gear needed to fish for a gigantic cetacean. No whaling vessel could have been better armed. We had every known mechanism, from the hand-hurling harpoon to the blunderbuss firing barbed arrows to the duck gun with exploding bullets. On the forecastle was mounted the latest model breeching load cannon, very heavy from barrel to narrow of bore, a weapon that would figure at the Universal Exhibition of 1867. Made in America, this valuable instrument could fire a 4-kilogram conical projectile an average distance of 16 kilometers without the least bother. So, the Abraham Lincoln wasn't lacking in means of destruction, but it had better still. It had Ned Land, the king of harpooners. The vampire hunter? He was a vampire hunter, and thanks to him, there's no vampires. So they say. So the Abraham Lincoln wasn't lacking in means of destruction. Oh, the hand of Ned Land, the king of harpooners. Gifted with uncommonly manual ability, Ned Land was a Canadian who had no equal in his dangerous trade. Dexterity, coolness, bravery, and cunning were virtues he possessed to a high degree, and it took a truly crafty baleen whale or an exceptionally astute sperm whale to elude the thrusts from his harpoon. Ned Land was about 40 years old, a man of great height, over 6 English feet, and was powerfully built, serious in manner, not very sociable, sometimes headstrong, and quite ill-tempered when crossed. His looks caught the attention of above all the strength of his gaze, which gave unique emphasis to his facial appearance. Commander Farragut, to my thinking, had made a wise move in hiring on this man. With his eye and his throwing arm, he was worth the whole crew all by himself. I can do no better than to compare him with a powerful telescope that could double as a cannon, always ready to fight. Canadian built like a moose, right? Chaplin was a taco shell. To say Canadian is to say French, and as unsociable as Ned Land was, I must admit he took a definite liking to me. No doubt it was my nationality that attracted him. It was an opportunity for him to speak, and for me to hear that old Rabelaisian dialect still used in some Canadian provinces. The harpooner's family originated in Quebec, and they were already a line of bold fishermen back in the days when this town still belonged to France. Little by little, Ned developed a taste for chatting, and I loved hearing the tales of his adventures in the polar seas. He described his fishing trips and his battles with great natural lyricism. His tales took on the form of an epic poem, and I felt I was hearing some Canadian Homer reciting his Iliad of the high Arctic regions. I'm writing of this bold companion as I currently know him, because we've become old friends, united in that permanent comradeship born and cemented during only the first frightful crises. Ah, my gallant Ned, I ask only to live 100 years more, the longer to remember you. And now, what were Ned Land's views on the question of the marine monster? I must admit that he flatly didn't believe in the unicorn, and alone on board, he didn't share the general conversation. He avoided even dealing with the subject, for which one day I felt compelled to take him to ask. During the magnificent evening of June 25th, in other words, 3 weeks after our departure, the frigate lay abreast of Cabo Blanco, 13 miles to leeward of the coast of Patagonia. We had crossed the Tropic of Capricorn and the Strait of Magellan, open less than 700 miles to the south. Before 8 days were out, the Abraham Lincoln would plow the waves of the Pacific. Thank you for the flowers. Seated on the afterdeck, Ned Land and I chatted about one thing and another, staring at that mysterious sea whose depths to this day were beyond the reach of human eyes. Quite naturally, I led our conversation around to the giant unicorn, and I weighed our expedition's various chances for success or failure. Then, seeing that Ned just let me talk without saying much himself, I pressed him more closely. Ned, I asked him, how can you still doubt the reality that this cetacean were after? Do you have any particular reasons for being so skeptical? The harpooner stared at me a while before replying, slapping his broad forehead in one of his standard gestures, closing his eyes as if to collect himself, and finally said, "Wait, so he just stared at you and then slapped his forehead? Huh? Okay. Just maybe, Professor Oranoa. But Ned, you're a professional whaler, a man familiar with the great marine mammals. Your mind should easily accept this hypothesis of an enormous cetacean, and you ought to be the last one to doubt it under these circumstances." "That's just where you're mistaken, Professor," Ned replied. "The common man may still believe in fabulous comets crossing outer space, or in prehistoric monsters living in the Earth's core, but astronomers and geologists don't swallow such fairy tales. It's the same with whalers. I've chased plenty of cetaceans. I've harpooned a good number. I've killed several, but no matter how powerful and well armed they are, neither their tails or their tusks could puncture the sheet iron plates of a steamer. Even so, Ned, people mention vessels that no whale's tusks have run clean through. Wooden ships, maybe, the Canadian replied, but I've never seen the like. So, till I have proof to the contrary, I'll deny that ballan whales, sperm whales, or unicorns can do such a thing. Listen to me, Ned. No, Professor, I'll go along with anything you want, except that some gigantic devilfish, maybe? Even less likely, Ned. The devilfish is merely a mollusk, and even his name hints it's semi-liquid flesh because its Latin meaning soft one. The devilfish doesn't belong to the vertebrae branch, and even if it were 500 feet long, it would still be utterly harmless to ships like the Scotia or the Abraham Lincoln. Consequently, the fates of krakens or other monsters of that ilk must be regulated to the realm of fiction. So, Mr. Naturalist, Ned Land continued in a bantering tone, you'll just keep on believing the existence of some enormous cetacean? Yes, Ned. I repeat it with a conviction backed by my factual logic. I believe in the existence of a mammal with a powerful constitution belonging to the vertebrate branch, like baleen whales, sperm whales, or dolphins, and armed with a tusk made of horn that has tremendous penetrating power. The harpooner put in, shaking his head with the attitude of a man who doesn't want to be convinced. Note well, my fine Canadian, I went on, if such an animal exists, if it lives deep in the ocean, if it frequents the liquid strata located miles beneath the surface of the water, it needs to have a constitution of solid, so solid it defies all comparison. And why is this powerful constitution? Ned asked. Because it takes an incalculable strength just to live in those deep strata and withstand their pressure. Oh really? Ned said, tipping me a wink. Oh, they are so gay for each other. Oh really? And I can prove it to you with a few simple figures. Posh, Ned said. You can't make the figures. You can make the figures do anything you want. In business, Ned, but not in mathematics. Listen to me. Let's accept that the pressure of one atmosphere is represented by the pressure of a column of water 32 feet high. In reality, such a column of water wouldn't be quite so high because we're dealing with salt water, which is denser than fresh water. Well then, when you dive under the waves, Ned, for every 32 feet of water above you, your body is tolerating the pressure of one more atmosphere. In other words, 1 more kilogram per square inch centimeter on your body's surface. So, if it follows that at 320 feet down, this pressure is equal to 10 atmospheres, to 100 atmospheres at 3,200 feet, and to 1,000 atmospheres at 32,000 feet, that is, at about 2.5 vertical leagues down, which is tantamount to saying that if you could reach such a depth of the ocean, each square centimeter on your body surface could be experiencing 1,000 kilograms of pressure. Now, my gallant Ned, do you know how many square centimeters you have on your body's surface? I haven't the foggiest notion, Professor Anwar. About 17,000. As many as that? Yes, and since the atmosphere's pressure actually weighs slightly more than 1 kilogram per square centimeter, your 17,000 square centimeters are tolerating 17,565 kilograms at this very moment. They're so gay for each other. Right? The way where he... Okay, really pause. We're stopping here for a second. The way that the professor is like, oh, if I could only live for 1,000 years more just so that I can continue to remember Ned. You're like, huh? And then now he's literally saying that his body, that Ned's body is 17,000 square centimeters. So he looked long enough to figure that out in his head based on the size of his body, his body weight, his height, everything, as well as the fact that the professor is like, he literally calls him my gallant Ned. I mean, get your man, Professor. Hello? But just say it at this point, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Okay. Professor wants to know every centimeter of his body, right? He does. He really needs to know, for science, of course. That's what the papers will say that he said, for science. I mean, if Ned is supposed to be as like good looking as the professor is making him out to be, then yeah, I guess. Give me a second, I have to change. There we go. That's better. That was like so bright. I don't mind a little bit of a glow. There we go. Then I go here. I have to save that. No, here, override. Which one is that? Oh, wrong one. Okay. Alright, let's see. Hopefully it's the right one. Yes, perfect. Okay, much better. Because that was like super bright. Get your man, Professor. For science. It's for science, of course. It is for science. You're right. You're right. Yes. Ned's a seasonal seaman of choice for the professor. I mean, they've been on this boat for 3 months together, you know? Sorry, 3 weeks together. He's had time to work out exactly how many square centimeters there are on Ned, you know? Alright. Without my noticing it. Without your noticing it. And if you aren't crushed by so much pressure, it's because the air penetrates the interior of your body with equal pressure. Then the outside and inside pressures are in perfect balance. They neutralize each other and allow you to tolerate them without discomfort. But in the water, it's another story. Yes, I see, Ned replied, growing more interested. Okay, so now he's literally interested in this conversation. I see Ned like sitting down and leaning into the professor as the professor explains. Because the water surrounds me. Okay, hear me out, guys. Okay, this is feeding more into our, or you know, the pun joke I did failed to land. Season of seaman for choice for research. He just measures him in his sleep. I mean, I would measure you in my sleep. Okay, so he said, so, right, imagine this. They're talking, and now Ned sits down, leans to the professor, and they continue their conversation. Okay. Yes, I see, Ned replied, growing more interested. Because the water surrounds me, but doesn't penetrate me. Precisely, Ned. So at 32 feet beneath the surface of the sea, you'll undergo a pressure of 17,568 kilograms at 320 feet, or 10 times greater pressure. It's 175,680 kilograms at 3,200 feet, or 100 times greater pressure. It's 1,756,800 kilograms. Finally, at 32,000 feet, or 1,000 times greater pressure, it's 17,568,000 kilograms. In other words, you'd be squashed as flat as if you'd just been yanked from between the plates of a hydraulic press. Fire and brimstone, Ned said. All right then, my fine harpooner. If vertebrates several hundred meters long and proportionate in bulk live in such depths, their surface areas make up millions of square centimeters, and the pressure they undergo must be assessed in billions of kilograms. Calculate, then, how much resistance of bone structure and strength of constitution they'd need in order to withstand such pressure. They'd need to be manufactured, Ned said. Ned Land replied, from sheet iron plates 8 inches thick, like ironclad frigates. Right, Ned? And then picture the damage such a mass could inflict if it were launched with the speed of an express train against a ship's hull. Yes, indeed. Maybe, the Canadian replied, staggered by these figures, but still not willing to give in. Well, have I convinced you? You've convinced me of one thing, Mr. Nationalist, that deep in the sea such animals would need to be just as strong as you say, if they exist. But if they don't exist, my stubborn harpooner, how do you explain the accident that happened to the Scotia? It's maybe, Ned said, hesitating. Go on, because I just couldn't be true, the Canadian replied, unconsciously echoing a famous catchphrase of the scientist Argo. What a book. Hi, Nex! Welcome in. How are you? Nex, and thank you so much for the $25 contribution. Thank you. Let me take this time. Well, let me finish this chapter, and then I will take that time afterwards to update where we are with the total goals and everything. Welcome in. How are you? What a book. It took... Okay, have you read 20,000 Leagues? Hi, Nepsy. Welcome in. How are you? How's your night? Cannot be so sorry. I think that's what a different pressure. I mean, the nerd and jock yaoi moment. It is. I'm good. Glad to be here, honestly. Nope, I haven't. Okay. So, it's a conversation between the professor and Ned, who's a harpooner, and he keeps referring to Ned as, like, my this, my that, my whatever, right? So you're just like, are you a couple? Are you, like, together, though? About to, like, while you're reading rub novels. Have a good lurk, Nepsy. Enjoy your night. But this reply proved nothing other than how bullheaded the harpooner could be. That day, I pressed him no further. The Scotia accident was undeniable. Its hole was real enough that it had to be plugged up. And I don't think a hole's existence can be more emphatically proven. I could not read that. Now then, this hole I know they're talking about the ship that was attacked and has a hole in the hull. I know that. But given the context of their previous conversation. Now then, this hole didn't make itself, and since it hadn't resulted from underwater rocks or underwater machines, it must have been caused by the perforating tool of some animal. Now, for all the reasons put forward to this point, I believe that this animal was a member of the branch vertebrata class Mammalia, group Pisciforma, and finally order Cetacea. As for the family in which it would be placed, baleen whale, sperm whale, or dolphin, the genus to which it belonged, and the species in which it would find its proper home, these questions had to be left for later. To answer them called for dissecting this unknown monster. To dissect it called for catching it. To catch it called for harpooning it, which was Ned Land's business. To harpoon it called for sighting it, which was the crew's business. And to sight it called for encountering it, which was Chansey's business. Hi, Ivan. Welcome in. How are you? Partner. Eloria! Hi, lovely. How are you? Welcome in. Let me give you a quick shout out. How's your night? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Legion. Hi. Leading into the sauce, the big sauce. Hi. Good morning, Jay. So who is this? The Canadian. The Canadian is Ned Land. Ned Land is the harpooner and the romantic lover of the professor. We are now on chapter 5, and the chapter is called At Random. There you go. Oh my god. Why is your eye closed? How can you read like that? I only have one eye. See? I'm technically only one eye. But how are you, chicken? How's your night? Thank you, any sweet plugged. Hi, Ivan. Yo, right? As a catfish myself, I just know that catfish ASMR is. So catfish ASMR will be, I will be wearing cat ears, a cat tail, and in a cat outfit. If we reach that goal of 100 subs, I need to update the stream elements thing, so just give me 1 second to do this, and I will tell you guys where we are, because any bits and donations to the throne have to be done manually. So if you guys want to know where we are, this is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating Twitch partner as well as YouTube partnership. Last night we reached the very first final goal of our reference sheet, so every sub donation or bit goes towards the actual model design itself. That is adorable. Momo Kitty. Yep, it'll be Momo Kitty. Yes, I have a model asset that I will be using, and one of the further ones after that is made. So if we hit both made and cat, I will be doing a cat made ASMR. But give me 1 second to update this really quick, okay? So let me put this in here. Oh, it goes here. We already did the kisses for Ruffle, so we did that, and then next did this. Alright, so then I go here and here. What would that be? Okay. Go here. Be 81. We are at 81 subs right now. There we go. Close that. Save and refresh. Does it say 81? I might need to refresh that. Let's see. Where is it? Where is the thing? Ah, there it is. Let me do that. We are now at 81. There we go. Perfect. We are at 81 subs. That is our... thank you for the head pat. Thank you, thank you. I'm not feeling very well. I'm tired, but I can't sleep. I feel like a zombie. Oh, I'm sorry, Ivan. What happened? Did you eat something bad? Thank you. Thank you for the flowers. Welcome to the temporary catfish rings. Well, if we do reach it, then I will gladly meow or nya during that stream. I'm going to call it a night. Take care of and enjoy the rest of this reading session. Good night, Envo. Have a good rest. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. And just a reminder, if you guys have not already, I do have my YouTube open as well. Hi, Raul. Found you again. Hi. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. We are on chapter 5. Alright. Let me see. Okay, yep, I updated that. And okay. Let me go ahead and settle down for chapter 5. Wait, hold on. Yeah, we'll do chapter 5 and then I'll take a break. Alright. Chapter 5, At Random. For some while, the voyage of the Abraham Lincoln was marked by no incident, but one circumstances arose that displayed Ned Land's marvelous skills and showed just how much confidence we could place in him. Off the Franklin Island on June 30th, the frigate came in contact with a fleet of American whalers, and we learned that they hadn't seen the Narwhal. But one of them, the captain of the Monroe, knew that Ned Land had shipped aboard the Abraham Lincoln and asked his help in hauling a ballan whale that was in sight. And the Canadian had such good luck that with a right and left foot shot, he harpooned not one whale, but 2, striking the first straight to the heart and catching the other after a few minutes' chase. I only stream for a couple of hours, Raul, that's why. So if you were, because you said you were at work, so I only stream for a couple of hours, which means I did end stream. Okay. Assuredly, if the monster had ever to deal with Ned Land's harpoon, I wouldn't bet on the monster. The frigate sailed along the coast of South America with prodigious speed. By July 3rd, we were at the entrance to the Strait of Magellan, abreast the Cabo de las Virgenes, but Commander Farragut was unwilling to attempt this tortuous passageway and maneuvered instead to double Cape Horn. The crew sided with him unanimously. Indeed, we were likely to encounter the narwhal on such a cramped strait. Many of our sailors swore that the monster couldn't negotiate this passageway, simply because he's too big for it. Near 3 o'clock in the afternoon on July 6th, 15 miles south of shore, the Abraham Lincoln doubled that solitary islet at the tip of the South American continent that stray rock Dutch seamen had named Cape Horn, after their hometown of Hoorn. Our course was set for the northwest, and the next day our frigate propeller finally churned the waters of the Pacific. "Open your eyes, open your eyes," repeated the sailors of the Abraham Lincoln, and they opened amazingly wide, eyes and spyglasses, a bit dazzled, it is true, by the vista of $2,000, didn't remain at rest for an instant. Day and night we observed the surface of the ocean, and those with nyctalopic eyes, whose ability to see in the dark increased their chances by 50%, had an excellent shot at winning the prize. Hi Shizu, how's it going? Good, how are you? How's your night? As for me, I was hardly drawn by the lure of money, and yet was far from the least attentive on board, snatching only a few minutes for meals and a few hours of sleep. Come rain or come shine, I no longer left the ship's deck, sometimes bending over the forecastle railings, sometimes leaning against the stern rail. I eagerly scoured that cotton-colored wake that whitened the ocean as far as the eye could see. And how many times I shared the excitement of general staff and crew when some unpredictable whale lifted its blackish back above the waves. In an instant, the frigate's deck would become densely populated. The cowls over the companionway would vomit a torrent of sailors and officers. With panting chests and anxious eyes, we each would observe the cetacean's movements. I stared until I nearly went blind from worn-out retina, while the counsel, as stoic as ever, kept repeating to me in a calm tone, "If Master's eyes would kindly stop bulging, Master will see Father." But that was a waste of energy. The Abraham Lincoln would change course and race after the animal sighted, only to find an ordinary ballan whale or a common sperm whale that soon disappeared amid a chorus of curses. However, the weather held good. Our voyage was proceeding under the most favorable conditions. By then, it was the bad season in these southernmost regions, because July in this zone corresponded to our January. To our January in Europe. Hi Kono, welcome in, how are you? How's your night? Okay, let's go ahead and let me take a quick breather so we can drink some water. Thank you for the care package. Breaks, I'm sorry for interrupting you. I apologize. Keep reading, please. Yeah, okay, I'll keep reading. Everybody sit up. Long day at school. Tired? We'll get cozy. Sit up, tilt your head to the left. Ouch. And tilt your head to the right. Look up. And look down. Hi Kona baby, how are you? Sit up and drink some wawa. Let's see, what did you get? You got a matcha, yum. Do you like matcha? Are you a matcha enjoyer? Have a good sleep, Kono. However, the weather held good. Our voyage was proceeding under the most favorable conditions. By then, it was the bad season in these southernmost regions, because July in this zone corresponds to our January in Europe. but the sea remained smooth and easily visible over the vast perimeter. Ned Land was still kept up the most tenacious skepticism. Beyond his spell on watch, he pretended that he never even looked at the surface of the waves, at least while no whales were in sight. And yet the marvelous power of his vision could have performed yeoman service. But this stubborn Canadian spent 8 hours out of every 12 reading or sleeping in his cabin. 100 times I chided him for his unconcern. Ugh, he replied. Nothing's out there, Professor Arnois. And if there is some animal, what chance will we have of spotting it? Can't you see we're just wandering around at random? People say they sighted this slippery beast again in the Pacific high seas. I'm truly willing to believe it, but 2 months have already gone by since then, and judging by your narwhal's personality, it hates growing moldy from hanging out too long in the same waterways. It's blessed with the terrific gift of getting around. Now, Professor, you know even better than I that nature doesn't violate good sense, and she wouldn't give some naturally slow animal the ability to move swiftly if it hadn't a need to use that talent. So if the beast does exist, it's already gone by now. I'm doing exactly what you're asking me to. I'm drinking coffee. I mean, coffee's nice. I like coffee. Nothing wrong with that. I had no reply to this. Obviously, we were just groping blindly, but how else would we go about it? At the same time, our chances were automatically pretty limited, yet everyone still felt confident of success. And not a sailor on board would have a bet against the narwhal's appearing, and soon, on July 20th, we cut the Tropic of Capricorn a longitude of 105 degrees, and by the 27th of the same month, we had cleared the equator on the 110th meridian. These bearings determined, the frigate took a more decisive westward heading and tackled the seas of the Central Pacific. Commander Farragut felt, and with good reason, that it was best to stay in deep waters and keep his distance from continents or islands, whose neighborhoods the animal always seemed to avoid. No doubt, our bosun said, because there isn't enough water for him. So the frigate kept well out when passing the Taumont, Marquise, and the Hawaiian Islands. The Marquise and Hawaiian Islands, there we go. Then cut the Tropic of Cancer a longitude of 132 degrees and headed for the seas of China. Hi Dragon Mancer, how are you? Have a good lurk, Deku. Enjoy your night. We were finally in the area of the monster's latest antics, and in all honesty, shipboard conditions became life-threatening. Hearts were pounding hideously, gearing up for futures full of incurable aneurysms. The entire crew suffered from a nervous excitement that is beyond me to describe. Nobody ate, nobody slept. 20 times a day, some error in perception or the optical illusions of some sailor perched in the cross trees would cause intolerable anguish, and this emotion, repeated 20 times over, kept us in a state of irritability so intense that a reaction was bound to follow. And this reaction wasn't long in coming. My internet connection's terrible. I'll leave you in the background. I'm sorry, Ivan. Hopefully you can get some good rest. Matcha? Yum, I love matcha. And this reaction wasn't long in coming. For 3 months, during which each day seemed like a century, the Abraham Lincoln plowed all the northerly seas of the Pacific, racing after whales sighted, abruptly veering off course, swerving sharply from one tack to another, stopping suddenly, putting on steam and reversing engines in quick succession. At the risk of stripping its gears, it didn't leave a single point unexplored from the beaches of Japan to the coasts of America, and we found nothing. Nothing except an immenseness of deserted waves. Nothing remotely resembling a gigantic narwhal or an underwater islet or a derelict shipwreck or a runaway reef or anything the least bit unearthly. So the reaction set in. At first, discouragement took hold of people's minds, opening the door to disbelief. A new feeling appeared on board, made up of 3/10 shame and 7/10 fury. The crew called themselves out-and-out fools for being hoodwinked by a fairy tale, then grew steadily more furious. The mountains of arguments amassed over a year collapsed all at once, and each man now wanted only to catch up on his eating and sleeping to make up the time he had so stupidly sacrificed. With typical human fickleness, they jumped from one extreme to the other. Inevitably, the most enthusiastic supporter of the undertaking became its most energetic opponents. This reaction mounted upward from the bowels of the ship, from the quarters of the bunker hands to the mess room or the general staff. And for certain, if it hadn't been for Commander Farragut's characteristic stubbornness, the frigate would ultimately have put back to the Cape in the south. Have a good lurk. Thank you so much for hanging out, Golden. But this futile search couldn't drag on much longer. The Abraham Lincoln had done everything it could to succeed and had no reason to blame itself. Never had the crew of an American naval craft shown more patience and zeal. They weren't responsible for this failure. There was nothing to do but to go home. A request to this effect was presented to the commander. The commander stood his ground. His sailors couldn't hide their disappointment, and their work suffered because of it. I'm unwilling to say that there was mutiny on board, but after a reasonable period of insurgence, Commander Farragut, like Christopher Columbus before him, asked for a grace period of just 3 days more. After this 3 days delay, if the monster hadn't appeared, our helmsman would give 3 turns of the wheel, and the Abraham Lincoln would chart a course towards European seas. This promise was given on November 2nd. It had the immense effect of reviving the crew's failing spirit. The ocean was observed with renewed care. Each man wanted one last look with which to sum up his experience. Spyglasses functioned with feverish energy. A supreme challenge had been issued to the giant narwhal, and later had no acceptable excuse for ignoring this summons to appear. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It is a classic story by I forget the name of the author. Jules Verne. It is a classic novel by Jules Verne. 2 days passed. The Abraham Lincoln stayed at half steam, on the off chance that the animal might be found in these waters. 1,000 methods were used to spark its interest or rouse it from its apathy. Enormous signs of bacon were trailed in our wake, and to the great satisfaction, I must say, of assorted sharks. While the Abraham Lincoln heaved to, its longboats radiated in every direction around it, and didn't leave a single point of the sea unexplored. But the evening of November 4th arrived, and this underwater mystery was still unsolved. At noon the next day, November 5th, the agreed upon delay expired. After position fix, true to his promise, Commander Farragut would have to set his course for the southeast and leave the northerly regions of the Pacific decisively behind. By then, the frigate lay in latitude 31 degrees, 15 north, and longitude 136 degrees, 42 east. The shores of Japan were less than 200 miles to our leeward. Night was coming on. 8 o'clock had just struck. Huge clouds covered the moon's disk. Then, in its first quarter, the sea undulated placidity beneath the frigate's stepmost. Just then, I was in the bow, leaning over the starboard rail. Conseil, stationed behind me, stared straight ahead. Roosting in the shrouds, the crew examined the horizon, which shrank and darkened little by little. Officers were probing the increasing gloom with their night glasses. Sometimes the murky ocean sparkled beneath moonbeams that darted between the frigates, fringes of 2 clouds. Then all traces of light vanished into the darkness. Observing Conseil, I discovered that, just barely, the gallant lad had fallen under the general influence. At least, so I thought. Perhaps his nerves were twitching with curiosity for the first time in history. "Come on, Conseil," I told him. "Here's your last chance to pocket that $2,000. "If master will permit my saying so," Conseil replied. "I never expected to win that prize, and the Union government could have promised 100,000 and be none the poorer." "You're right, Conseil. It turned out to be a foolish business after all, and we jumped into it too hastily. What a waste of time. What a futile expense of emotion. 6 months ago, we could have been back in France." "In Master's little apartment," Conseil answered. "In Master's museum. By now, I could have classified Master's fossils, and Master's Barbarossa would be ensconced in its cage at the zoo in the botanical gardens, and it would have attracted every curiosity seeker in town." "Quite so, Conseil, and what's more, I imagine that people will soon be poking fun at us." "To be sure," Conseil replied serenely. "I do think they'll have fun with Master's expense. And must it be said?" "It must be said, Conseil." "Well then, it will serve Master right." "How true." When one has the honor of being an expert as Master is, one mustn't lay himself open to. Conseil didn't have time to complete the compliment. In the midst of the general silence, a voice became audible. It was Ned Land's voice, and it shouted, "Ahoy! There's the thing in question, abreast of us, to leeward." So it looks like they finally found the thing that they were looking for. What it is, hopefully, we'll find out in Chapter 6. I'm going to take a quick little break. I'm going to go refresh my water, and we will come back to Chapter 6 after I take my quick break. I will be right back. Give me 1 second. Be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you guys had a nice little break too. Did you guys stand up? Did you guys take a break? Get some water, get a snack? Fishing time, right? Imagine being in a boat for 6 months. And the thing you're after, you cannot find it. Gustav, I'm going to throw broccoli at you. Gustav. I'm gonna do it, I swear. Okay. And just a reminder, guys, we are raising money right now for the 2.0 design. So if you guys would like to help, if you guys would like to donate, you can do bits or subs. You can do a super in chat in YouTube. Otherwise, if you want to directly help, you can click on that link right there for my throne, and the funds will go towards the model art, which is the pinned one on the top of the throne. If you do 1 to 5 subs, I will add a kiss to the model that stays on all week. Technically 2 weeks. If you do, what is it? If you do, I think it's 10 to 20. I need to look at the thing. I don't remember my own thing. Yeah, if you do 1 to 5 subs, I will add a kiss or a bite. If you do 10 to 20, I will add a post-it with your name on it to the model. It stays for the 2 weeks. Otherwise, if you do 30 subs or more, or 100, which is $150, I will do a certificate. We had to do 1 certificate so far, and they got the certificate of Snack Quality Assurance Officer. What's that all about? Can I explain? So I am raising money right now, Raul, for my 2.0 design. So basically it'll be a new model, a new design, a new character. It'll still be me, I'll look different. New outfit, new hair. If you would like to, like I said, if you'd like to donate directly, there is the link to my throne right there in your chat for you. Otherwise, hi Tav, hi Hamster, welcome in. Otherwise, if you do a super, if you do bits or a sub on Twitch, I will apply that directly to the 2.0. We are at 81 subs in total right now, which is about 19 shy of the next goal, which is at 100, and I will do a catfish ASMR. How much is it total for your character? It is so the artist quoted me a little over 3,000 for just the base design. And then that's all we're looking to get immediately. If we get anything extra, that'll be something I have to talk to them about. So right now we have raised about $705 out of the 3,400. So we are a little over 3,000, little under 3,000, I think. Wait, 3,807. So we're 3,100 left for the full price of the model art to be completed. Hi Cooper, how are you? How's your night? Hope you're doing well. There we go. Alright, let me go ahead, and we are now on chapter 6. If you guys would like to join us on the reading, you can. You can do exclamation point book, and I will, you will see the link, otherwise it is pinned to the top of chat. Okay, let's settle in. And let's do one more chapter. Okay. Chapter 6. At full steam. At this shout, The entire crew rushed towards the harpooner commander. Officers, mates, sailors, cabin boys, down to the engineers, leaving their machinery and stokers neglecting their furnaces. The order was given to stop, and the frigate merely coasted. By then, the darkness was profound, and as good as the Canadian's eyes were, I still wonder how he could see, and what he had seen. My heart was pounding to burst. Hi, Thyrians. Thank you, Raoul. If you did decide to do any donation, you do not have to do the full amount. If you want to do anything at all, even if it's just $10, that'll be one step closer to the 2.0 design. Only if you want to, of course, right? Let's see. But Ned Land was not mistaken, and we all spotted the object his hand was indicating. 2 table lengths off the Abraham Lincoln starboard quarter, the sea seemed to be lit up from underneath. This was no phosphorescent phenomenon. That much was unmistakable. Submerged some fathoms below the surface of the water, the monster gave off that very intense but inexplicable glow that several captains had mentioned in their reports. This magnificent radiance had come from some force with great illuminating capacity. The edge of its light swept over the sea in an immense, highly elongated oval, condensing at the center into a blazing core whose unbearable glow diminished by degrees outwards. "It's only a cluster of phosphorescent particles," exclaimed one of the officers. "No, sir," I answered with conviction. "Not even angel wing clams or selves have ever given off such a powerful light. That glow is basically electric in nature. Besides, look, it's shifting, it's moving back and forth. It's darting at us." A universal shout went up from the frigate. "Quiet, Commander Farragut said. "Helm hard to leeward, reverse engines." Sailors rushed to the helm, engineers to the machinery. Under reverse steam immediately, the Abraham Lincoln beat to port, sweeping in a semicircle. "Right to helm, engines forward," Commander Farragut called. These orders were executed, and the frigate swiftly retreated from its core of light. My mistake. I wanted to retreat, but the unearthly animal came at us with speed double our own. We gasped, more stunned than afraid. We stood mute and motionless. The animal caught up with us, played with us. It made a full circle around the frigate, then doing 14 knots, and swapped us in sheets of electricity that were like luminous dust. Then it retreated 2 or 3 miles, leaving a phosphorescent trail comparable to those swirls of steam that stood behind the locomotive of an express train. Suddenly, all the way from the dark horizon, where it had gone to gather momentum, the monster abruptly dashed towards the Abraham Lincoln with frightening speed. Pet de Momo. Thank you for the head pack, Cooper. Thank you. Hi, Thyrians. I'll definitely let you know. Excited. Even once we get it, once we reach the goal, it will take some time, but it is something that it is my dream model, my dream design, the one that we're aiming towards. Hi, Sea Bear. How are you? How's your night? Hope you're doing good. There we go. Suddenly, all the way from the dark horizon where it had gone to gather momentum, the monster abruptly dashed towards the Abraham Lincoln with frightening speed, stopped sharply 20 feet from our side plates, and died out. Not by diving under the water, since its glow did not recede gradually, but all at once, as if the source of its brilliant emanation had suddenly dried up. Then it reappeared on the other side of the ship, either by circling round us or by gliding under our hull. At any instant, a collision could have occurred that would have been fatal to us. Meanwhile, I was astonished at the frigate's maneuvers. It was fleeting, not frightening, but to pursue, it was being pursued, and I commented on this to Commander Farragut. His face, ordinarily so motionless, was stamped with indescribable astonishment. "Professor Ennui," he answered me, "I don't know what kind of fearsome creature I'm up against, and I don't want my frigate running foolish risks in all this darkness. Besides, how should we attack this unknown creature? How should we defend ourselves against it? Let's wait for daylight, and then we'll play a different role." "You've no further doubts, Commander, as to the nature of this animal?" "No, sir. It's apparently a gigantic narwhal, and an electric one to boot." "Maybe," I answered. "It's no more approachable than an electric eel or an electric ray." "Right," the commander replied. "And if it has the power to electrocute, it's surely the most dreadful animal ever conceived by our Creator. That's why I'll keep on my guard, sir." Enjoy your work. Hopefully it goes well. The whole crew stayed on their feet all night long. No one even thought of sleeping. Unable to compete with the monster's speed, the Abraham Lincoln slowed down and stayed at half steam. For its part, the narwhal mimicked the frigate, simply rode with the waves, and seemed determined not to forsake the field of battle. However, near midnight, it disappeared, or to use a more appropriate expression, it went out like a huge glowworm. Had it fled from us? We were duty-bound to fear so rather than to hope so. But at 12:53 in the morning, a deafening hiss became audible, resembling the sound made by a waterspout expelled with tremendous intensity. "Hi, Peach. How are you? How's your night?" By then, Commander Farragut, Ned Land, and I were on the afterdeck, peering eagerly into the profound gloom. "Ned Land," the commander asked, "you've often heard whales bellowing?" "Often, sir, but never a whale like this, whose sighting earned me $2,000. "Correct. The prize is rightfully yours, but tell me, isn't that the noise cetaceans make when they spurt water from their blowholes?" "The very noise, sir, but this one's way louder, so there can be no mistake. That's definitely a whale lurking in our waters. With your permission, sir," the harpooner added, "tomorrow, at daybreak, we'll have words with it." "If it's in a mood to listen to you, Mr. Land," I replied in a tone far from convinced. "Let me get within 4 harpoon lengths of it," the Canadian shot back, "and it had better listen." "But to get near it," the commander went on, "I'd have to put a whaleboat at your disposal." "Certainly, sir. That will be gambling with the lives of my men, and with my own," the harpooner replied simply. Nearly 2 o'clock in the morning, the core of light reappeared, no less intense. 5 miles to windward of the Abraham Lincoln, despite the distance, despite the noise of wind and sea, we could distinctly hear the fearsome thrashings of the animal's tail, and evens its pathing breath. Seemingly, the moment this enormous narwhal came up to breathe at the surface of the ocean, air was sucked into its lungs like steam into the huge cylinders of 2,000 horsepower engine. I said to myself. A cetacean as powerful as a whole cavalry regiment. Now that's a whale of a whale. We stayed on the alert until daylight, getting ready for action. Whaling gear was set up along the railings. Our chief officer loaded the blunderbusses, which can launch harpoons as far as a mile, and long duck guns with exploding bullets that can mortally wound even the most powerful animals. Ned Land was content to sharpen his harpoon, a dreadful weapon in his hands. At 6 o'clock, day began to break, and with the dawn's early light, the narwhal's electric glow disappeared. At 7 o'clock, the day was well along, but a very dense morning mist shrank the horizon, and our best spyglasses were unable to pierce it. The outcome, disappointment and anger. I hoisted myself up to the crosstrees of the mizzen sail. Some officers were already perched on the mastheads. At 8 o'clock, the mist rolled ponderously over the waves, and its huge curls were lifting little by little. The horizon grew wider and clearer all at once. Suddenly, just as on the previous evening, Ned Land's voice was audible. "There's the thing in question, astern to port," the harpooner shouted. Every eye looked towards the point indicated. There, a mile and a half from the frigate, a long blackish body emerged a meter above the waves, quivering violently. Its tail was creating a considerable eddy. Never had Conchal equipped thrashed the seas with such power. An immense wake of glowing whiteness marked the animal's track, sweeping in a long curve. Hi, Peach. I'm good. Ready for bed? Yeah, get cozy. Get comfortable in bed. Nice and cozy. Hi, Captain. Welcome in. Captain Waddlehook. Oh my god, I love that. Our frigate drew nearer to the cetacean. I examined it with a completely open mind. Those reports from the Shannon and the Helvetia had slightly exaggerated its dimensions, and I put its length at only 250 feet. Its girth was more difficult to judge, but all in all, the animal seemed to be wonderfully proportioned in all three dimensions. While I was observing this phenomenal creature, 2 jets of steam and water sprang from its blowholes and rose to an altitude of 40 meters, which settled free me its mode of breathing. From this, I finally concluded that it belonged to the branch Vertebrata, class Mammalia, subclass Monodelphia, group Pisciforma, order Cetacea family. But here, I couldn't make up my mind. The order Cetacea consisted of 3 families, between ballan whales, sperm whales, dolphins, and it's in this last group that narwhals was placed. Each of these families was divided into several genera, such each genus was into species, each species into varieties. So I was still missing variety, species, genus, and family, but no doubt I would complete my classifying with the aid of Heaven and Commander Farragut. The crew were waiting impatiently for orders of their leader. The latter, which carefully observing the animal, called for its engineer. The engineer raced over. "Sir," the commander said, "are you up to pressure?" "Aye, sir," the commander, the engineer replied. "Fine, stoke your furnaces and clap on full steam." 3 cheers greeted this order. The hour of battle had sounded. A few moments later, the frigate's Bologna, thank you for the sweater. I think it definitely was sweater time. Thank you so much. A few moments later, the frigate's 2 funnels vomited torrents of black smoke, and its deck quaked from the trembling of its boilers. Driven forward by this powerful propeller, the Abraham Lincoln headed straight for the animal. Unconcerned, the latter let us come within half a cable length. Then, not bothering to dive in, it got up a little speed, retreated, and was content to keep its distance. This chase dragged on for about 3/4 of an hour without the frigate gaining 2 fathoms on the Cetacean. At this rate, it was obvious that we would never catch up with it. Infuriated, Commander Farragut kept twisting the thick tuft of hair that flourished beneath its chin. "Ned Land," he called. The Canadian reported at once. "Well, Mr. Land," the commander asked, "do you still advise putting my longboats to sea?" "No, sir," Ned Land replied. "Oh, right, Canadian. No, sir," Ned Land replied. "Because that beast won't be caught against its will." "Then what should we do?" "Stoke up more steam, sir, if you can. As for me, with your permission, I'll go perch on the bobstays under the bowsprit, and if we can't within harpoon length, I'll harpoon the brute." "Go ahead, Ned," Commander Farragut replied. "Engineer," he called, "keep the pressure mounting." Ned Land made his way to the post. The furnaces were urged into greater activity. Our propeller did 43 revolutions per minute, and steam shot from its valves. Heaving the log, we verified that Abraham Lincoln was going at the rate of 18.5 miles per hour. But that damned animal also did a speed of 18.5. For the next hour, our frigate kept up its pace without gaining a fathom. This was humiliating for one of the fastest racers in the American Navy. The crew were working up into a blind rage. Sailor after sailor heaved insults at the monster, which couldn't be bothered with answering back. Commander Farragut was no longer content simply to twist its goatee. He chewed on it. The engineer was summoned once again. You're up to max pressure," the commander asked him. "Aye, sir," the commander replied. Sir, the engineer replied. "And your valves are charged to 6.5 atmospheres. Charge them to 10 atmospheres. A typical American order if I ever heard one. It would have sounded just fine turning some Mississippi paddle wheeler race to outstrip the competition." "Conseil," I said to my gallant servant, now at my side, "you realize that we'll probably blow ourselves sky high?" "As master wishes," Conseil replied. "All right, I admit it. I did wish to run the risk." The valves were changed. More coal was swallowed by the furnaces. Ventilators shot torrents of air over the braziers. The Abraham Lincoln's speed increased. Its masts trembled down to their bulwarks, and swirls of smoke could barely squeeze through the narrow funnels. We heaved the log a second time. "Well, helmsman?" the Commander Farragut asked. 19.3 miles an hour, sir. Keep stoking the furnaces." The engineer did so. The pressure gauge marked 10 atmospheres, but no doubt the Cetacean itself had warmed up, because without the least trouble, it also did 19.3. What a chase. No, I can't describe the excitement that shook my very being. Ned Land stayed at his post, harpoon in hand. Several times the animal let us approach. Oh, that's actually really cool. They included a picture. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see. Charge to 6. I hate you, Belle, so much right now. Let me see if I can show you guys the picture of the book, of the page really quick. If I go here, what is this? This is oh my goodness, that's so big. This is the picture that the book provided. Here we go. I will put this right here for you guys to see. So that's the picture that is in the story. So you could see Ned standing on the ropes just under like the very front of the ship, and then in the distance you can kind of see the top of whatever it is that they're chasing, right? So that's really cool. But yeah, that's in the book. That's really cool. I like that. Okay. Do a quick stretch. All right. We're overhauling it, the Canadians shout out. Then, just as he was about to strike, the cetacean would steal off with a swiftness I could estimate at no less than 30 miles an hour. And then, at our maximum speed, it took the liberty of thumbing its nose at the frigate by running a full circle around us. A howl of fury burst from every throat. By noon, we were no further along than at 8 o'clock in the morning. Commander Farragut then decided to use more direct methods. "Ah," he said, "so the animal is faster than the Abraham Lincoln. All right, we'll see if it can outrun our conical shells. Mate, man the gun at the bow." Our forecastle cannon was immediately loaded and leveled. The cannoneer fired a shot, but his shell passed some feet above the cetacean, which stayed half a mile off. "Over to somebody with better aim," the commander shouted, "at $500 to the man who can pierce that infernal beast." Calm of eye, cool of feature, an old gray-bearded gunner, I can see him to this day, approached the cannon, put it in position, and took aim for a good while. There was a mighty explosion, mingled with cheers from the crew. The shell reached its target. It hit the animal, but not in the usual fashion. It bounced off that rounded surface and vanished into the sea 2 miles out. "Drat," said the old gunner in his anger. "That rascal must be covered in 6-inch armor plate." "Curse the beast," Commander Farragut shouted. The hunt was on again, and Commander Farragut leaned over to me, saying, "I'll chase that animal till my frigate explodes." I replied, "And yes, and nobody would blame you." We could still hope that the animal would tire out and not be as insensitive to exhaustion as her steam engines. But no such luck. Hour after hour went by without it showing the least sign of weariness. However, to the Abraham Lincoln's credit, it must be said that we struggled on with tireless persistence. I estimate that we covered a distance of at least 500 kilometers during this ill-fated day of November 6th, but night fell and wrapped the surging ocean in its waters. By then, I thought our expedition had come to an end, that we would never see this fantastic animal again. I was mistaken. At 10:50 in the evening, that electric light reappeared 3 miles to windward of the frigate, just as clear and intense as the night before. The narwhal seemed motionless. Was it asleep, perhaps, weary from its workday, just riding the waves? This was our chance, and Commander Farragut was determined to take full advantage of it. He gave his orders. The Abraham Lincoln stayed at half steam, advancing cautiously so as not to waken its adversary. In mid-ocean, it's not unusual to encounter whales so sound asleep that they can successfully be attacked, and Ned Land had harpooned more than one in its slumber. The Canadian went to resume his post on the bobstays under the bowsprit. The frigate approached without making a sound, stopped 2 cable lengths from the animal, and coasted. Not a soul breathed on board. A profound silence reigned over the deck. We were not 100 feet from the blazing core of light, whose glow grew stronger and dazzled the eyes. Just then, leaning over the forecastle railing, I saw Ned Land below me, one hand grasping the martingale, the other brandishing his dreadful harpoon. Barely 20 feet separated him from the motionless animal. All at once, his arm shot forward, and the harpoon was launched. I heard the weapon collide resonantly, as if it had hit some hard substance. The electric light suddenly went out, and 2 enormous waterspouts crashed onto the deck of the frigate, racing like a torrent from steam to stern, toppling crewmen, breaking spare masts and yardarms from their lashings. A hideous collision occurred, and thrown over the rail with no time to catch hold of it, I was hurled into the sea. Okay, that is the end of chapter 6. What do you guys think so far? Do you think they're just foolish men trying to chase something that obviously is more than what they have a knowledge of? Or do you think what they're doing is appropriate? I guess is the right word. Higher Cantos, welcome in. Let me put this here so you guys can see the chapter. There we go, chapter 7. I honestly think, if I saw something glowing in the water like that, I don't know if I would want to get any closer to it, you know? I would probably want to stay far, far away from it and just be like, yeah, no. But I think they can manage it somehow. It's not unheard of, right? But the professor was thrown overboard. You think Ned is gonna jump in and save him? Or do you think Ned's gonna be like, that sucks to suck? Okay. We can probably do one more chapter. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I want to try and do at least 7 chapters. You don't think Ned's gonna jump in and try and save him? See? Hi, Sloth. Sloth, you won the raffle. Did you DM me? You did. Okay. I will answer you after stream. Good, good, good. I awake. Good morning. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Alright. We're gonna do one more chapter. Just a quick stretching out my neck. I'm gonna drink some Wawa and then we'll continue. Lovely evening to you. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Alright. Chapter 7. A whale of unknown species. Although I was startled, if all else fails, they could use rocks. Where they can get rocks? They're in the middle of the ocean, Valonia. Silly. Sauce, thank you for the check-in. I'm getting sleepy, Peach. Getting sleepy. Getting cozy. Good. Alright. Although I was startled by this unexpected descent, I at least have a very clear recollection of my sensations during it. At first, I was dragged about 20 feet under. I'm a good swimmer without claiming to equal such other authors as Byron and Edgar Allan Poe, who were master divers, and I didn't lose my head on the way down. With 2 vigorous kicks of the heel, I came back up to the surface of the sea. My first concern was to look for the frigate. Had the crew seen me go overboard? Was the Abraham Lincoln tacking about? Would Commander Farragut put a longboat to sea? Could I hope to be rescued? The gloom was profound. I glimpsed a black mass disappearing eastward, where its running lights were fading out in the distance. It was the frigate. I felt I was done for. Help! Help! I shouted, swimming desperately towards the Abraham Lincoln. My clothes were weighing me down. The water glued them to my body. They were paralyzing my movements. I was sinking. I was suffocating. Help! Was the last shout I gave. My mouth was filling with water. I struggled against being dragged to the depths. Suddenly, my clothes were seized by energetic hands. I felt myself pulled abruptly back to the surface of the sea. And yes, I heard these words pronounced in my ear. If Master would oblige me by leaning on my shoulder, Master will swim with much greater ease. With one hand, I seized the arm of my loyal Conseil. You, I replied. You, myself, Conseil replied, and at Master's command. What collusion threw you overboard along with me? None at all. But being in Master's employ, I followed Master. The fine lad thought this only natural. What about the frigate? I asked. The frigate, Conseil replied, rolling over on his back. I think Master had best not depend on it to any great extent. What are you saying? I'm saying that just as I jumped overboard, I heard the men of the helm shout, "Our propeller and rudder are smashed." Smashed? Yes, smashed by the monster's tusk. I believe it's the sole injury that Abraham Lincoln has sustained. But most inconveniently for us, the ship can no longer steer. Then we're done for. Perhaps, Conseil replied serenely. However, we still have a few hours before us. And in a few hours, one can do a great many things. Yes, use the ocean rocks. Ah, there we go, Zero. You're so right. Use the ocean rocks. Hi, Parker. Welcome in. How are you? puppy boy servant. Right, Conseil is such a sweet, sweet character. I really like him. But the thing is, in the movies, they replaced Conseil with the professor's daughter who falls in love with Ned. And I'm like, but the bromance between the professor and Ned was just so sweet. How dare you replace our BL? How do you? Welcome in, how are you? How's your night? Conseil's unflappable composure cheered me up. I swam more vigorously, but hampered by clothes that were as restricting as a cloak made of lead. I was managing with only the greatest difficulty. Conseil noticed as much. Master would allow me to make an incision, he asked, and he slipped an open clasp knife under my clothes, slitting them from top to bottom with one swift stroke. Then he briskly undressed me while I swam for us both. I then did Conseil the same favor, and we continued to navigate side by side. Right? Imagine swimming and your manservant is just like, allow me, takes a knife and just right out of your clothes. I mean, I get it, because back then the clothes were made out of wool, and wool is very heavy when wet. But imagine though, well, for some reason, but I'm glad I did. If you woke up, I'm sorry. Get back to sleep, get cozy in bed. Get your blankets, get your blankies. But our circumstances were no less dreadful. Perhaps they hadn't seen us go overboard, and even if they had, the frigate, being undone by its rudder, couldn't return to leeward after us, so we could only count on its longboats. Conseil how coolly reasoned out his hypothesis and laid his plans accordingly. An amazing character, this boy. In mid-ocean, the stoic lad seemed right at home. So, having concluded that our sole chance for salvation lay in being picked up by the Abraham Lincoln's longboats, we had to take steps to wait for them as long as possible. Consequently, I decided to divide our energy so we wouldn't both be worn out at the same time, and this was the arrangement. While one of us lay on his back, staying motionless with arms crossed and legs outstretched, the other would swim and propel his partner forward. This towering whirl was to last no longer than 10 minutes, and by relieving each other in this way, we could stay afloat for hours, perhaps even until daybreak. Slim chance. It should have been me, right, Zero? Right? Aero moment, exactly. Slim chance, but hope springs eternal in the human breast. Besides, there were two of us. Lastly, I can vouch, as improbable as it seems, that even if I had wanted to destroy all my illusions, even if I had been willing to give in to despair, I could not have done so. The cetacean had rammed our frigate at about 11 o'clock in the evening. I therefore calculated on 8 hours of swimming until sunrise. A strenuous task, but feasible, thanks to our relieving each other. The sea was pretty smooth and barely tired us. Sometimes I tried to peer through the dense gloom, which was broken only by the phosphorescent flickers coming from our movements. I stared at the luminous ripples breaking over my hands, shimmering sheets splattered with blotches of bluish gray. It seemed as if we'd plunged into a pool of quicksilver. Near 1 o'clock in the morning, I was overcome with tremendous exhaustion. My limbs stiffened in the grip of intense cramps. Conseil had to keep me going, and attending to our self-preservation became his sole responsibility. I soon heard the poor lad gasping. His breathing became shallow and quick. I didn't think he could stand such exertions for much longer. Go on, I told him. Leave master behind, he replied. Never. I'll drown before he does. Just then, past the frigates, fringes of a large cloud that the wind was driving eastward, the moon appeared. The surface of the sea glistened under its rays. The kindly light rekindled our strength. I held up my head again. My eyes darted to every point of the horizon. I spotted the frigate. It was 5 miles from us and formed no more than a dark, barely perceptible mass. But as for longboats, not a one in sight. I tried to call out. What was the use of such a distance? My lips, swollen, wouldn't let a single sound through. Conseil could still articulate a few words, and I heard him repeat at intervals, "Help! Help!" Ceasing all movement for an instant, we listened, and it may have been a ringing in my ear from this organ filling with impended blood, but it seemed to me that Conseil's shout had received an answer back. "Did you hear that?" I answered. I muttered, Yes, and Conseil hurled another desperate plea into space. This time, there could be no mistake. A human voice had answered us. Was it the voice of some poor devil I left behind in mid-ocean, some other victim of that collision suffered by our ship? Or was it one of the frigate's longboats hailing us out of the gloom? Conseil made one final effort, and bracing his hands on my shoulders while I offered resistance with one supreme exertion, he raised himself half out of the water, then fell back, exhausted. "What did you see?" "I saw," he muttered. "I saw, but we mustn't talk. Save our strength." What had he seen? Then, Lord knows why, the thought of the monster came into my head for the first time. But even so, that voice. Gone are the days when Jonas took refuge in the bellies of whales. Nevertheless, Conseil kept towing me. Sometimes he looked up, stared straight ahead, and shouted a request for directions, which was answered by a voice that was getting closer and closer. I could barely hear it. I was at the end of my strength. My fingers gave out. My hands were no help to me. My mouth opened convulsively, filling with brine. Its coldness ran through me. I raised my head one last time. Then I collapsed. Just then, something hard banged against me. I clung to it. Then I felt myself being pulled upward, back to the surface of the water. My chest caved in, and I fainted. Hi, Tsukiyume! Welcome in. How are you? How's your night? How cozy you be? Oh my gosh, wait, is that? Wait a minute. Hi, Pam. How are you? Is that a new partner badge on you, Tsukiyume? Hi, Pam. How are you? Doing well. Thank you so much. Doing well. I'm good. We're reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations. Hi, Pam. How are you, lovely? Our pretty Princess Pam. Welcome in. Thank you. No, let me give you a quick shout out. TS. Make sure. Perfect. Hope you're doing good and congratulations, Suki. Yeah. Congratulations. Oh, I forgot to turn that off. I thought I turned that off. That's my bad. There. Perfect. Okay, now we're good. But we are reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. If you would like to join us in reading, here is the link to the book. We are almost through the end of chapter 7. The only thing that's happened so far is the story is told through the perspective of the professor, Professor Ornois, and story times. Right? Right? What do you mean? Raid message? Huh? Are you leaving? What are you doing, silly? What are you doing? Oops. Are you trying to do a command? Were you trying to do a certain command? Were you trying to drink? Oh, they're raiding out. Oh, no, we're not raiding out. No. Ignore me. Oh. Oh my gosh. No, you're good. But we do have some fun commands. You can do drink if you want to order a drink. You can do. Oh, I got a latte. Hi, Surya. Welcome in. How are you? Copper and Trillium because you're a QT. I am not. I am made of flesh and kisses right now. But how are you, Surya? How's your night? That's actually a really good one. Do you care if I steal that from you? We're actually in the middle of doing an event right now. It is my 1-year partner anniversary, as well as we recently made YouTube partner. So we are celebrating by doing a 2.0 crowdfunding. And for every person who does 1 to 5 subs will get a kiss or a bite mark, and I will add it to myself for the entire 2 weeks we're doing this event. If you want to have a post-it, it is, let me double check my notes. It is 10 to 20 subs. Otherwise, if you want your very own personalized cafe certificate, that I will mail to you. Sorry, not mail. I will email to you. It is 30 subs or more. On 1 year. Thank you. I want to be hugged. You want a hug? Okay, here, I got you, Surya. I got you. Hug at. Let me spell your name. You are Surya. There you go. 33%. Okay, so just a gentle hug. Just a little one. We have ads going on right now. So before we do any more of the story, we're going to go ahead and take a quick little break. Just to kind of like sit back, stretch our arms. Tilt your head to the left. Time to get cozy. Yeah, get cozy. Tilt your head to the right. Thank you so much for coming in, Suki. Have a good rest. Look up. And look down. Alright. Sit up and drink some mama. Enjoy your rest. Mwah. Okay. Oh, it's always good to take little breaks. And I try not to do anything while the ads are running. Though I don't know if the ads actually run on Twitch or not. But they might. And just a reminder to anyone, if you would like to follow me on YouTube, here is my link right there. I post all of my shorts as well as audios, and all of my streams, all my ASMR streams are there. So if you miss a day and you want to keep up with the story, they'll be listed in my YouTube channel under playlists. You should be able to find the book. We have done Dracula, and now we are doing what's this one called? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But alright, let's take one more deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth, and let's continue. For certain, I came too quickly because someone was massaging me so vigorously it left furrows in my flesh. I half opened my eyes. Conseil, I muttered. Did Master ring for me? Conseil replied. Just then, in the light of a moon settling on the horizon, I spotted a face that wasn't Conseil's, but which I recognized at once. Ned, I exclaimed. In person, sir, and still after his prize, the Canadian replied. You were thrown overboard after the frigate's collision. Yes, Professor, but I was luckier than you, and right away I was able to set foot on this floating islet. Islet? Or, in other words, our gigantic narwhal. Explain yourself, Ned. It's just that I soon realized why my harpoon got blunted and couldn't puncture its side. Why, Ned? Why? A massage, right? God Hunter! Hi, God Hunter! How are you? Thank you for joining me over on YouTube. I was getting lonely. Hi, Sloth! They're into each other, right? Ned's just sitting there, like, massaging him, and he's just like, Professor, wake up. Having deja vu, get her goober. Wow. I'm telling Lucy. Why, Ned? Why? Because, Professor, this beast is made of boilerplate steel. At this point in my story, I need to get a grip of myself, construct exactly what I experienced, and make doubly sure of everything I write. I'm doing good. How are you, lovely lady? I'm good. We've had a really nice night. We did some of our redeems. Some of the redeems we had to do was punishment wheel, so we did 2 punishment wheel redeems. I added all the kisses and the post-its to myself, as well as set up the monthly movie nights, which start next week. And we got a list of things for Inky to doodle for her thing. So that was really nice to get this all set up. You got a latte? Ooh, yum. What's that dang cat gonna do? They're gonna do a lot. Just you wait. Thank you for the kiss. Very nice. Yeah. We are at 81 of the next tier for subs. We're at 100. Sorry, We need 100 more to get to the next goal, which is catfish ASMR. Thank you for the forehead kiss, Ben. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. Thank you for the drink, Sea Bear. You got pure magic. Yum. That's always tasty. And you got water. Hydrate yourself. Okay. Alright. The Canadian's last words caused a sudden upheaval in my brain. I swiftly hoisted myself on the summit of this half-submerged creature or object that was serving as a refuge. I tested it with my foot. Obviously, it was some hard, impenetrable substance, not the soft matter that makes up the bodies of our big marine animals. But this hard substance could have been a bony carapace, like those that covered some prehistoric animals, and I might have left it at that and classified this monster among such amphibious reptiles as turtles or alligators. Well, no. The blackish back supporting me was smooth and polished with no overlapping scales. On impact, it gave off a metallic sonority, and as incredible as this sounds, it seemed, I swear, to be made of riveted plates. No doubts were possible. This animal, this monster, this natural phenomenon that had puzzled the whole scientific world, that had muddled and misled the minds of seamen in both hemispheres was, there could be no escaping it, an even more astonishing phenomenon. A phenomenon made by the hand of man. Even if I had discovered that some fabulous mythological creature really existed, it wouldn't have given me such a terrific mental jolt. It's easy enough to accept that prodigious things can come from our Creator, but to find all at once, right before your eyes, that the impossible had been mysteriously achieved by man himself, this staggers the mind. But there was no question now. Taylor Shear, thank you for the follow. But there was no question now. We were stretched out on the back of some kind of underwater boat that, as far as I could judge, boasted the shape of an immense steel fish. Ned Land had clear views on the issue. Conseil and I could only line up behind him. But then, I said, does this contraption contain some sort of locomotive mechanism and a crew to run it? Apparently, the harpooner replied, and yet for the 3 hours I've lived on this floating island, it hasn't shown a sign of life. This boat hasn't moved at all. No, Professor Anwa, it just rides with the waves, but otherwise it hasn't stirred. But we know that it's certainly gifted with great speed. Now then, since an engine is indeed to generate that speed, and a mechanic to run that engine, I conclude we're saved. Ned Land put in his tone, denoting reservations. Just then, as if to take my side in the arguments, a bubbling began astern of this strange submersible, whose drive mechanism was obviously a propeller, and the boat started to move. We barely had time to hang on to this topside, which emerged about 80 centimeters above water. Fortunately, its speed was not excessive. So long as it navigates horizontally, Ned Land muttered, I've no complaints, but if it gets the urge to dive, I wouldn't give $2 for my hide. The Canadian might have quoted a much lower price, so it was imperative to make contact with whatever beings were confined inside the plating of this machine. I searched for Surfeit with an opening or a hatch, a manhole to use the official term, but the lines of rivets had been firmly driven into the sheet iron joints and were straight and uniform. Moreover, the moon then disappeared and left us in profound darkness. We had to wait for daylight to find some way of getting inside this underwater boat. So, our salvation lay totally in the hands of the mysterious helmsman steering this submersible. And if it made a dive, we were done for. But aside from this occurring, I didn't doubt the possibility of our making contact with them. In fact, if they didn't produce their own air, they inevitably had to make periodic visits to the surface of the ocean to replenish their oxygen supply. Hence the need for some opening that put the boat's interior in contact with the atmosphere. As for any hope of being rescued by Commander Farragut, that had to be renounced completely. We were being swept westward, and I estimate that our comparatively moderate speed reached 12 miles per hour. The propeller churned the waves with mathematical regularity, sometimes emerging above the surface and throwing phosphorescent spray into great heights. Near 4 o'clock in the morning, the submersible picked up speed. We could barely cope with its dizzying rush, and the waves battered us at close range. Fortunately, Ned's hands came across a big mooring ring fastened to the top side of its sheet iron back, and we all held on for dear life. Finally, this long night was over. My imperfect memories won't let me recall my entire impression of it. A single detail comes back to me. Several times during various holes of wind and sea, I thought I heard indistinct sounds, a sort of elusive harmony produced by distant musical chords. What was the secret behind this underwater navigating, whose explanation the whole world has sought in vain? What beings live inside this strange boat? What mechanical force allowed it to move about with such prodigious speed? Daylight appeared. The morning mists surrounded us, but they soon broke up. I was about to proceed with a careful examination of the hull, whose topside formed a sort of horizontal platform, when I felt it sinking little by little. "Oh, damnation!" Ned Land shouted, stamping his foot on the resonant sheet iron. "Open up there, you antisocial navigators." But it was difficult to make yourself heard above the deafening beat of the propeller. Fortunately, this submerging movement stopped. From inside the boat, there suddenly came noises of iron fastenings pushed roughly aside. One of the steel plates flew up. A man appeared, gave a bizarre yell, and instantly disappeared. A few moments later, 8 strapping fellows appeared silently, their faces like masks, and dragged us down into their fearsome machine. And that was chapter 8. Did amazing. Thank you, God Hunter. I sometimes wonder if you guys even like the reading nights. I enjoy doing them a lot, but as long as you guys are enjoying them too, then it's worth it. Alright, we are now on chapter 8. I freaking love that. Never stop doing them. Submarine time. Yes, next chapter is submarine time. It is actually a little over when we normally end. Oh, Ryuk, thank you for the care package. Oh, I do like the reading. Me too. This is my first time here. Bane, it is not. Everybody sit up, tilt your head to the left, and tilt your head to the right. Look up, and look down. Sit up and drink some wawa. I've been able to catch. I do reading nights every Tuesday. We usually start at 10 p.m. PST on Twitch, do about an hour of just chatting, and then I go live over on YouTube, and hopefully soon I'll be able to go live also on TikTok. I'm still just waiting for confirmation of my access for a stream key, and then we can do multi on all three, you know. Wow, gotta drink the water. Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, it's just under socials. There you go, that's the link. So that's my link to everything. My X, my YouTube ASMR, my YouTube Bonds, my Patreon, as well as my TikTok, and everything else that you don't see there, you can find it on my card. I love butter so much. Yum yum. Me too. Alright. It's been better that you're reading it. I'm glad you're enjoying it, God Hunter. I'm glad you are. Every time you pop in and hang out with me over on YouTube, it is such a joy. We are actually going to go ahead and we're going to call it here for the night on YouTube, though. And we're going to find somebody to raid into over on Twitch. So I will have to see you, or not. Never mind. Never mind. We just got raided. Hi, Stir. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, raiders. Welcome to Favorite Cafe. I'm Mukia. I'm a Siren with a necrotic affliction, and I run a cafe. If you guys would like a drink, we could do tea, boba, coffee, hot cocoa. However, the cake is extra. Hopefully you guys had a good time. What were you guys doing? Warhammer? How was the Warhammer? Did you have fun? And Ben, thank you for the forehead kiss. Never mind. Oh, I was about to raid out. I was about to end stream and find somebody to raid into, but never mind because you came in and said hi. But how was Dreamster? That's okay. We'll stay for a little bit longer. In chat. Good night, Napsy. We're gonna stay for just a bit longer before we raid out. And then we'll find someone to raid into. But now we have a little more time, just a little bit about that. No, you're fine, it's okay. Hi, buddy. Refill the snack drawer. Sweet James. Oh, you're going to bed? Good night, Hunter. Munamon, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in, Sweetling. How are you? Welcome in, raiders. Just for anyone who pops in and hanging out from Stir's channel, I do ASMR on Monday, Tuesdays, and then I do game nights on Fridays, Saturdays. I play a bunch of different games like Marvel Rivals, Claire Obscure, oh, that's the same thing. Claire Obscure's Expedition 33, Story of Seasons. I have a bunch of different games that I play. So everybody left me behind, going to get some rest. If I want to say hi, have a good rest, buddy. Good night, good night, good night. But for anyone that's just coming in, we are actually celebrating my 1-year partner anniversary, as well as our YouTube partner. It has been a year since I made partnerships, so this is my new anniversary thing. As well as last week we made YouTube partner. So we're celebrating it today, or technically we're celebrating it for the next 2 weeks, as well as to raise money raise funds. It is a crowdfund for the 2.0. I was able to show this off before, but let me show you guys this. So we were able to, here we go. Oh, that is not the right one. That is not the right one. We were able to do our reference sheet. The first goal that we reached was 400, and we were able to pay the artist for the reference sheet. And I can actually show you guys. It is still a work in progress, of course, but I can show you guys this. The entire reference sheet. I'll put it right here in the corner for you guys to see. So this is the 2.0 reference sheet. Like I said, this is just a sketch. This is just a sketch. Oops, still looks nice. About awesome. Quite, yeah, first time here. Looks nice, right? So the idea is to have a monster form. We will be having a monster form with the 2.0, as well as the cozy outfit, which is the one. So the monster form is on the far right, and then cozy outfit, the sweater will be fashioned after a sweater my grandma used to wear, and she left here before she passed away. I still have it, and she used to wear the sweater all the time, so the sweater for that outfit will be fashioned after hers. The casual outfit, which is the one with the carriage skirt and the hair up, and then my normal outfit, or my more like siren-esque outfit, will be a bathing suit and a covering. Have a final form? I will have a final form. The last thing, the last piece of art on the far left, that is just a breakdown without any of the clothes to kind of show the markings, as well as the tattoo. Because I'm supposed to have a tattoo, but didn't get it. So that's why the 2.0 is my dream design. It's supposed to have everything that'll be lore accurate to myself. If you guys would like to help me get the model, get the 2.0, you can do bits, sums, or you can do exclamation point party like this, and get the link to do direct support for the artist, to pay the artist for the model art. It's just the art, not the rigging. But yeah, it's still more powerful. Yeah, Ben. Ooh, it's gonna be a final form. Don't check my name. I can check your name. Looks nice, right? I missed solo. Oh, right, Stir. Oh my god. So I had to do 2 punishment wheel spins earlier. Let me actually hide this. I did do 2 punishment wheel spins earlier. The first one that we landed on, I had to burp on stream. It was harder than I thought it was gonna be, but I did it. And then the second thing was to watch old content from my channel. So when we did, the first video I loaded up was the last day I was able to play Swords of Legends before they closed it down. I only managed to do about 10 minutes before I had to close the recording because I was literally trying not to cry. I was so upset. And then the second video I loaded up was I was playing a game with the friend I met on Swords of Legends, but I no longer am like friends with that person because of like life busy reasons and stuff like that, you know, like we just don't talk. And yeah, that's pretty much. So it was just like one sad video after the next, and I'm just like, okay. I literally had to stop watching both videos just to make myself to not cry. I was so upset. Who needs friends? Cries in corner. Yeah, see. But yeah, and then yeah, that's pretty much what we did today before we started reading. We did that and we settled some other things, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna call it a night here. So everyone on YouTube, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and now we'll see you guys next month.